Hello guys, welcome back to the series of tutorials on C++. I am Deepak and here I am going to talk about one of the most powerful software reuse feature of C++ and that is template. So basically there are two kind of templates. One is function templates and another is class templates. They enable you to specify an entire range of related or overloaded functions with a single piece of code known as function template specialization or an entire range of related classes called class template specialization. And this technique is called generic programming. So basically in simple terms, it means that we will be writing a single piece of code segment that will work as we have written a variety of code segments. So let us take some example to understand the concept. The first example in our case is when you want to sort an array of integers or array of floats or array of strings etc. But we can do all these things using a single function template specialization. And this code is going to sort integer arrays or float arrays or string arrays for us. Secondly, if you want to find out the largest value, then again we can use a single piece of code and use that for various data types like integer, character, string or floats. Another example is about swapping two values of any data type, and again in that case we can create a function template specialization and we can perform this task. Fourth example that I am going to talk about here is related to class template specialization. Here we can create a class template for a stack class and then have C++ generate class template specializations such as stack of integer class, stack of float class, stack of string class, and so on. From these examples and the concept we discussed so far, it's clear that we can write a single piece of function or class that can play the role of many more functions or classes. So let's discuss function template in more detail first, and then we'll talk about class template briefly along with an example. As we are talking about function templates, it's good to talk about overloaded functions first. Overloaded functions normally perform similar or identical operations on different types of data. But if operations are identical, they can be better expressed more compactly and more conveniently using function templates. Initially, we need to write a single function template definition, like we can start with return type of function, then function name, and then some data type and some argument, and here will be body of the function. So we have written a single function template definition here, and on the basis of argument types provided here or inferred from the calls to this function, like we can call this function like this function name, and then we can pass some data here. It could be integer maybe 1, or it could be function name maybe 1.5, which is float or double you can say. So either based on the argument provided here or the argument inferred from the calls, integer in this case and float in this case, the compiler will generate separate source code function, and we can also call them function template specialization, to handle each function call appropriately. So it means for this function or this call, there will be a new definition of this function which will handle this integer type here. And for this function, as it's float, this function will have a separate copy having float as data type here, right? So in these two calls, we have two copies. Both the function overloading and templates are example of polymorphism features of object-oriented programming. Function overloading is used when multiple functions do similar kind of operations, and templates are used when multiple functions do identical operations, right? So we can write that overloading is best in case of similar operations and function templates are best in case of identical operations. Now let's talk about the syntax of using function templates. So C++ adds two new keywords to support templates. So templates, we are basically talking about function template and class template both. So there are two keywords. One is template and another is type name. And this keyword can always be replaced by keyword class. So you can either use type name or you can either use class, but using template is necessary. So all function template definition begin with a keyword template like this, and it will be followed by a list of template parameters to the function template enclosed in a angular bracket. And each template parameter that represents a type must be preceded by either keyword type name or class. So basically when you are writing a function, you have to write type name here and then name of argument, which could be t or any other name, or you can use some another format like this template, and then you can use class here and t again. And if you have multiple parameters, you can again do something like this template, then type name, first parameter is t1 and another parameter is t2. And if you want to write more parameters, you can extend this by using commas. Not placing keyword class or type name before each type template parameter of a function template, it will result in a syntax error. So it's must to include these type name in front of these, right? Now let's understand the whole concept using a simple program where we will find out a maximum of two values. So here is example 1. So we have to first write template, then type name, and as this function is going to have all the values of same data type, so we are only taking one parameter, which is t. So this t could be integer, float, character, or anything else. Now we have to start writing our function. Function name is find max, and this function takes two arguments of similar type. So one is t, parameter name is x, another is also t and parameter name is y, and then we'll calculate maximum and return that. So we can use ternary operator here, x greater than y, question mark x, colon, y, and semicolon. But this function is going to return value of t type. That's why we need to place a return type here, which is t, right? So this is similar to all other functions. Now try to create a main function here, and main function will be calling this find max. You can write something like this, cout find max, and then you can pass values of your choice. So I am writing 3 and 7 here. So basically this will call find max for integer values. You can change this function argument and also pass 3.0, 7.0, and in this case we are calling this function for float values, or you can say double values. You can also use same function for finding the maximum value in two characters. So it could be A and E, right? So you are seeing one function in the source code here, which is this function, but compiled code may contain multiple copies of the same function. So let's understand the working of templates and how do these templates work. In C programming, this task can be performed using macros. So I hope you have heard about macros previously. They are created using the preprocessor directive has define. However, they have some major differences which could cause problems. So let's understand the difference between function template and macros first. So the first difference between them is the function templates are expanded at compile time and strict type checking is performed. But in case of macros, they are expanded by preprocessor and no type checking is performed by compiler, due to which macros can have multiple side effects. So function templates like macros enable software reuse, and unlike macros, function templates help eliminate any type of errors through the scrutiny of full C++ type checking. That's why it's better to use function templates, right? So I hope you got an idea what function templates do and what macros do. If you don't know about macros, I suggest you to read about these. And there is one more important thing that is related to macros. So that is inline function. We have discussed about that in our previous lecture, so you can go back and watch that tutorial first, right? And one more thing, if you want operators to work for the user defined data, we are doing all these things for integer, float and character, which are primitive data types. But if you want all these things to work for the user defined data, you need to overload them. And if you don't do so, there will be a compilation error, right? So till now we have talked about templates and macros both. So let's understand the working of this function a little bit more so that we can understand the concept. So what happens when we call this function find max using these two values? The compiler will automatically generate a separate copy which will look like this: int find max, then int x, int y, and all the things that are inside this will remain same. Similarly, when this call or this call is made, integers will be replaced by float or char as required here, right? So that's how template create multiple copies, and these multiple copies are called function template specialization. Now let's take one more example and understand the function templates more. So here is example 2, and in this example we are going to create a template that prints an array. So even in this function you have to write template first, then type name, and as we are talking about an array, so we have only one data type, so we are taking t here. Then you can create function void print array, and then you can pass some arguments here. In our case I am taking const t star const array, so this array is one argument that is being passed from another function or main in our case. And now I have to run a loop which runs from 0 to the length of this array, and then we can print each element of this array using this indexing, right? And finally you can print a new line. So this print array function is going to print array for you. You can create a main function, and inside main function you can declare arrays of multiple type which can be integer, float, array, etc. I am just creating one array for you having size 5, and there are 5 values here. Now we need to call this function print array from here, pass array and its size, right? So depending on the type of array, this t will be converted to that type. In this case, a copy will be made which will have integer here. If you make float, it will have float. If you will have character, it will have character here, right? And these separate copies will be called function template specialization. Let's take one more example, example 3. And in this case, we are going to swap data using a function. It's as simple as we have discussed in previous example. So we have to write template type name, then write a function. In this case, I am writing function swap, which will have return type void. Then I will have two parameters of type t. One is n1 and another is n2. And both these arguments are being passed by reference. So now I hope you know the logic of swapping values. So I have to take one temporary variable, and then I will make a logic temp equal to n1, n1 equal to n2, and n2 equal to temp. And we are able to do swapping by this logic in this case because the values are being passed by reference. You can also do little bit variation here. You can try to pass by address, right? And second is pass by reference as we have done here, right? So it's homework for you. You can try all these things. Now if you want to call this function, you have to just create a main function and use different kind of variables like integer i1 equal to 1, i2 equal to 2. Similarly, you can take float values f1 equal to 1.1, f2 equal to 2.2, character values, and then call these functions on these values like i1, I2, F1, F2, and C1, C2. If you want to see these values changing, you can print these values before and after calling of these functions, right? So that's how swapping of values is being performed by function template specialization. So this was all about function templates. Now let's proceed further and talk about class template using a simple example. Like function templates, class templates are useful when a class defines something that is independent of the data type. It can be useful for classes like linked list, stack, queue, array, binary tree, etc. So whenever you are talking about class template, you can write a template like this: template, type name, t, and it is exactly similar as we were writing function templates. Then we have to write class name, so it's a syntax of that, and then we have to write the body of class. If you want to have private data members, you can write private here, and whatever data you are going to declare, you can write something like this: t var. So we are basically declaring a data of t type. And after that, if you want to define some functions which are of public type, you can write their return type, function name, and then arguments. Suppose in our case argument is of t type. So this will be the syntax of class template. And if you want to create object of such a class, then syntax will be class name, and then you have to tell about the data type for which you want to have this class. So if you want to use this class for only integers, so you have to write class name, integer in angular bracket, and then object name. Similarly, if you want to have it for float and string, then you have to repeat same thing, but instead of integer, write float, object name, and similarly write string and object 3. So this is how you can create different objects of the same class. So if you are creating object of linked list, array, stack, or queues, you can create a generic class like this, and then create linked list, array, stack, or queues of integer, float, strings, and any other data type. If you want to have it for data types of user defined data types, then you can do so, right? Now let's take one more very simple example to understand the working of class template. Here in all these cases, in function template and in class template, I am not going to run these programs. Although I am writing whole program here, you can just have a look at them and run on your own system. So just take one more example, example number 4. In this case, I am going to have two kind of data type. So I will write template, type name t1, and type name t2. You are already aware that we can also write class instead of type name here and here. So you can interchange these two things, right? Now you have to write class and class name. I am writing class template here. I want to have two private data members in my class. One is A, which is of T1 type, and another is B, which is of T2 type. Now I want to create a constructor, and constructor will have same name as class name. It will have two parameters of T1 type and T2 type. And finally, I will assign X to A and Y to B. So that's how constructor is working here. Now I want to have a function here which will not return anything. And this function is very simple, which is going to print the values of A and B. So now this function ends here and class is ending here. Now what I have to do, I have to create a main function, and here I will create object of this class. So class name is class template. So do something like this. And now we have to tell the compiler about data types that we want to use for this object. So t1 is float in this case, and t2 is of integer type. So I will write float and int inside angular bracket. Then object name maybe ct1, and then pass some values, maybe 1.2 and 2. And here we are creating an object something like this, which will have two values: a equal to 1.2 and b equal to 2, and name of object is ct1. Similarly, you can create some other object which will have two values, One may be integer type, another is of character type, and object name is ct2. So you can pass something like 2 and a, and now this will create another object named ct2, a equal to 2 and b equal to a, which is a character value, right? And after this you can call this function ct1 dot show and ct2 dot show, right? And then this function is going to print a equal to 1.2 and b equal to 2, and this ct2 object is going to print 2 and a. So output would be 1.2, 2, and here 2 and a, right? So that is all about class templates and function templates. So basically they provide means for describing your function or class generically, and you can write a generic code which compiler will convert into multiple source code depending on the parameters that you are passing, right? So I think this is enough for this tutorial. If you have any doubt or query regarding any of these things, you can write your queries in the comments and I will try to respond back as soon as possible. So guys, see you in the next video in which we are going to talk about STL, which is very important feature of C++. And before that tutorial, it is must for you to understand the concept about templates, because these are the things that we are going to use there, right? So see you in the next video with some new concept. Till then, thank you so much.